for me to get into film. I mean, even though I loved film and getting to it was almost uh, a dream that was just too far off. I mean, you couldn't even consider it. The most I could hope for is maybe get into graphic design or find work in a small press or something like that. But I ended up going to Vancouver, spending a couple of years in art school, and then I went to Toronto. And I here in Vancouver, they have, but they really didn't have anything that was film related. I mean, it was more like video editing and stuff like that. But then after that, they did have an animation course. But you got to remember, at that time there was no CG. It was all for you Americans. We have a part of the Canadian government called the National Film Board, and it's basically a lot of independent animators and filmmakers it's Disney hadn't or animation hadn't had that renaissance
Right.
that it went through a few years later. So I got really tired of animation just because it basically amounted to drawing picture over and over and over and over and over again. And I decided I wanted to get into Illustrated.
Hmm.
So strangely enough, in Vancouver, they didn't have a course in illustration. So I ended up going to the Ontario College of Art and signed up for illustration. Before I could even make it to the first class, I was hired by an animation company, Nelvana.
Wow.
Now, Nelvana, for those of you that don't know, they were the ones that did the animated section of the Star Wars Christmas show, the Star Wars
Oh, the holiday special.
holiday special. Yeah.
Yes, the one with
So
Boba Fett where they introduced
yeah.
Boba Fett,
So
right?
that part with Boba Fett was done by Nelvana.
Did they have like a
And
polar bear? A polar bear is like the
yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
their
I've seen a lot of
yeah.
stuff by them. Yeah, actually,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I came in after that when they were looking for people because on the success of that animated segment, they went on to droids and Ewoks, which
Mm.
Star Wars connected to Star Wars. I mean that was my first job. My first job was Star Wars. And I was really thrilled with that. And even though you look back at it now, it doesn't really hold up very well. It's sad um, yeah, I don't want to watch it anymore.
But
They had a whole they had like some other I can't recall off the top of my head, but they had a lot of I think animation shows that were
Oh yeah, a lot of Saturday morning stuff, a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
kiddie stuff.
yeah.
The only other that I can think of that would be of any note would be I did a little bit on Johnny Quest. They did a few episodes of Johnny Quest. And what else? Beetlejuice. Um,
you did storyboarding for Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, which was
yes.
yeah
That was after Nelvana though. I mean,
that was
yeah,
after, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was done in Toronto. That was I ended up working for Arca, ARCCA. And that was the company that was doing the CG special effects for Captain Power. And yeah, it was kind of cool. I mean, I went to the set a couple of times, and they have the post-apocalyptic sets there, and it was kind of cool. But it really wasn't anywhere in the same level as say Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever. So I ended up going to getting a little bit tired of working on lower budget shows, and so I ended up going to Hong Kong because I started getting really, really interested in Hong Kong films. That's when John Woo was getting, and Hong Kong films were getting a renaissance. So I went down there, worked on commercials for a little while, and decided to come back and myself in another animation company. But while I was in that animation company working on others in the morning cartoons, I met somebody who had I met somebody who was Gary Hutzel. Gary Hutzel is the special effects supervisor um, for let's see, Star Trek: The Next Generation,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Star Trek shows, and I guess he took a liking to me. So when he left Vancouver and then came back again with the idea of doing Battlestar Galactica, for some reason Vancouver was really busy, and he couldn't find anybody to do uh, um, concept artwork. So he knew me. He asked me, and I was like, "Do you want to work on Battlestar Galactica?" Yeah, of course. So that was about December of 20 no 2002, I guess. No, 2001 actually. December of 2001. And the production had broken for Christmas holidays, and I spent the entire Christmas holidays locked in my room trying to draw spaceships like Joe Johnson, you know. And I guess I did it well enough that they hired me for that.
Nice. The Cylon God. Well, you're known as the Cylon God because you redesigned the Cylons for the 2003 Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, I don't know how I got that. Somebody gave it to me.
It
Oh.
was I don't know. Maybe Mike Scott did it. I don't know. I remember
sounds
when
like
I met
somebody
you
on Twitter.
when I met you at Steve Neal's, I had on 2099 T-shirt,
Oh yeah.
and you looked at me and you were like, I went to go shake your hand. You were like, yeah. And I go, how'd you get that T-shirt? And I said, well, I know Steve Warnick, and I believe at the time they were trying to get the rights to Space 1999 to do Space 2099. It was Moonbase Alpha Legacy. It was called. That was the official, title. I did an interview with him. He interviewed me about some of the episodes, and then I said, if you need any help, just tell me. I'll help you as much as I can. Then there was Wes Sargent came in, and Wes had digitized all Moonbase Alpha and the Eagles and putting GI, and Tammy Klein and Glenn Campbell. I think Tammy Klein and Glenn Campbell were involved.
Yeah.
In that who were involved in Helios, which you're a part of, and Gil, Gilbert's like going, when am I gonna get my next Helios? So,
So right? I mean,
the Space 1999 project was interesting, but whether or not we had a realistic chance of getting the I don't know. I think ITV, or is it ITC? I can't remember. ITV has dangled the idea of doing a Space 1999 reboot for a long time, and
a UFO reboot too. Yeah,
sorry.
And an UFO reboot too. They've done that a few times as well.
Oh yeah. But from what I understand, I mean, even though I know what's his name?
Jamie
Anderson.
Anderson.
Sorry?
Jamie Anderson.
Jamie Anderson. So from what I gather, they have a certain understanding, but the people at ITV are now run by people that didn't necessarily grow up with Space 1999. They don't really know what they have, but they also know that it's worth a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and aren't likely to give away the rights to somebody who doesn't have a track record. I mean, I'm sure if James Cameron phoned up and said he wanted to do that, but there has been a lot of people claiming to have the rights to Space 1999, and no, they don't have it. These are people that don't. I talked to what's his name? Um, oh gosh, he works as a special effects person in LA, and Matthew Gratzner,
Okay.
who they have a company and they do all the miniatures for Chris Nolan's films. And he ever heard to getting the UFO reboot off the ground, but they, I don't know what happened to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of false starts, and then they just either check that it's a big enough package to attract their interest. I know that what's his name? Jeffrey Morris. He was claiming to have the inside on doing yeah, I and where's that gone? There's been no.
He's done he's done the documentary, the Eagle, but
does he have a big enough name to handle a big enough property like that?
no, I don't think so.
No.
It's a well, for us old fogies, and I'm an old fogey, you're not, but I am. I
Hey,
remember growing up with
how old
Space
are you
19.
tomorrow?
I'm 63.
You're only 2 years away from me.
Okay.
Really?
Well, okay.
Well, I'm 63 too, so we're all the
But,
same.
but we grew, we grew
Yeah.
up with it. I'm in the 70s, and it was good. Like like first season, very good exploration. When it started getting traction, it was like second season. Then it was like, it became like Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Well, what see this week?
Yeah.
What is Maya going to change into this week? And it was always centered around her, and it was just it just became I was like, okay, and then it's gone. So
No, I would love to see a series because Space 1999 came out of it was supposed to be like the UFO, like another
Right.
season of UFO, but more focused on the moon base, and then it just jumped to like 20 some odd years in the future. But I would love to see a series of period, supposedly like where it went from like the world of UFO
Right.
to 1999. I think that before the breakaway thing happened, that would be, I think that'd be a very interesting. And of course, if I was to pick anybody to do it, it would be your buddy Roland Moore. Roland Moore. He
Ron
does
Moore.
such great stuff. I'm
Yeah.
really happy with everything he's ever worked on, and it seems to me. I know he's probably getting on in years, but I would love to, for him to take the reins on a project like that. That'd be like my dream.
The transition between Shadow Moonbase,
Yeah.
and Moonbase Alpha. There's been like concept art. I've seen concept art of the interceptor, the interceptor set, or below the moon's surface in ruins. A person in an alpha spacesuit actually looking at them.
Really?
Yeah, there's concept art out there, and I said that would be a good series to have that, like that transition.
Yep.
So,
Cool.
So after you did, you did Battlestar Galactica. How did you get involved in Helios? Now, I have to talk about Helios because I talk about Steve Warnick and everybody, and Christopher Penfold. Christopher Penfold, 99.
Mhm.
He was also a writer for Midsummer Murders. I actually got a chance to talk to him at one of the conventions in Pennsylvania when I moved to Pennsylvania.
Really?
And I said, "How could such murders? There's nobody left." And he started laughing. And he's like, "Yeah, it has a lot of murders, but Steve was I think Steve was working, with him at the time, and then Steve was showing me like the revisions, and keep this under your hat, keep this under your hat. So I have all those revisions that I've seen. So how did you get involved with Steve and?
I got involved with Eric Bernard out of
Oh,
Quebec, and I think at that time we we kicked around some ideas for projects, and at one time there was a company in Quebec that had produced this amazing feature, and it extremely low budget, but it looked extremely expensive too, and had a miniature uh, for the spaceships, and they had tried uh, for a long time to get somebody to pick that up and not produce it, but distribute it because
okay.
it was already done. They
Hmm.
they had financed it themselves, and
I,
something you could immediately put on Netflix. You
I
know,
think
Really?
I saw it. I think it's called Project M. Is that Project
I
M?
think so. I think so. Yeah.
Steve had shown me some of the video, and I was like, "Wow, this is really good." And he goes, "But
Yeah.
the writers wrote themselves into a corner." He said something with they they killed off some main characters, and they put themselves into a corner that they couldn't get out of. And then Eric and Steve, because I remember Steve went to Eric's house. He drove. I think Eric lives in Montreal.
Yes.
Steve, drove there because
Sorry,
I
we're,
called.
we're we're getting mixed up. That's Eric
I'm sorry.
Bernard. Not
Yeah, it's Eric Bernard. Sorry.
Yeah. And we're Steve,
Mhm.
Steve who? Steve Neal?
Steve. No, my friend Steve Warnick, who's a
Oh,
writer.
Warnick. Okay.
Steve Warnick wrote for Deep Space Nine. He
Oh,
also wrote
right,
for.
right, right.
He
Yeah,
tried
I've
Star
heard the
Trek
name.
Next
Yeah.
Generation, and Inquisition, so
Yeah.
he gave the whole spiel. But I've known Steve for like over 25 years, much to his regret. But he went to Eric's house, and they, you know, they hashed out a story for Helios, I believe. But so yeah, so that was the. So I'm sorry. Go ahead and
No,
continue.
this is a long time ago, so I'm also here trying to remember what happened. I mean, I think at one Helios was the continuation of Project M, maybe.
Okay.
It's somewhere along the way, Project M transformed Helios.
Okay.
So I think at one point, Project M and just take Helios and make it their own thing. So I think that's what Steve and Eric did.
Okay. I won't spoil it for anybody because Steve is trying to get traction on the Helios, audiobook. I know the whole story, but I can't say anything because if I do, he's going to call me up and yell at me and scream at me and throw stuff at my house, and so I'm like, no, okay, so
Yeah, you can tell me, man.
no, I can't. I could tell you the gist of it, but I can't tell you here on this forum. I can't do that, because that would give away that would give away the audiobook, and if he can't
See,
get traction on the audiobook, then he can't get the Amazon Prime,
okay, that's
uh,
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
contract, and then you can't watch it on Amazon Prime,
Okay,
with commercials. So
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
yeah. And then Eric doesn't get paid, Tammy doesn't get paid, and I don't know, I don't know, for something. So anyway, um, with that said,
Contraband.
yes. So, your 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 son Taylor is actually following, I believe, in your footsteps. He's doing graphic art. He's doing.
Really?
I was looking
Well,
at.
keep in mind that he's 12. So,
All right.
That's a great age. That's where the magic happens.
I know, but you make it sound like he's like in his,
No, he's
teens or something. No, he's 12 and he makes his own animated stick figures and a lot of writing. He actually
Okay.
started writing short novels and then gotten a few um, published on online collections,
Oh wow.
which is
An achievement.
with the animation
Nice.
and he's drawn well graphic novels, but again there's stick figures and the writing. I'm surprised at how creative he can be.
Mhm.
And he has not asked me for any input. He has not asked me to teach him anything. The writing I was super surprised about because he just sit there and write like an entire, well, not novel, and without any help whatsoever.
Wow.
He was doing his animation. He learned editing online without. I mean, YouTube has taken over my parenting abilities.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Does he build model kits?
Uh,
Bug
not
check it out.
model kits, but every Halloween he makes his own costume.
Very
So-
cool.
Okay.
Nice. Very
Yes.
cool.
This year he did Chainsaw Man, so he didn't want any help, and he did this whole Chainsaw Man helmet with the things sticking
Oh yeah, yeah.
all out of card. He wore it to
Nice.
the Chainsaw Man movie premiere here.
Is it a Chainsaw Man movie? I didn't. What,
Yeah.
I thought it was like Texas Chainsaw.
No,
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 no.
something different.
It's a Japanese anime.
Oh, it
it's
is.
pretty
Okay, I'll have to
violent,
have my son about
pretty,
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chainsaw Man. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, he has some creativity in there somewhere.
Okay, that's good. That's
Excellent.
good. So
You still a Godzilla fan? Or did that wane?
I don't. You know what? He has a very eclectic taste. Not
Yeah.
so much. Here's the thing. I don't think he saw Godzilla -1,
Really?
but the animated cartoons he's been producing are kaiju.
Oh, really? Oh, see.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
okay.
then, okay. He's so the influence is still there to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Good. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that.
I was talking to who was I talking to? I'm getting old. I can't remember stuff. Anything down. Oh, you have put a display at Wonderfest. When you went to Wonderfest, there were certain displays on your table, each year. Now, I know this from Steve Warnick that you're like Greg Jean. You're hipster, I should
Okay.
say.
okay.
Because I remember seeing something on your that really pissed off a lot of other people at work, and it was the Jaws
Oh,
theme, but Donald Trump swimming.
Donald
And
Trump, I thought it was
no,
Joe
no,
Alves.
no,
I thought it
no,
was Joe
no.
Alves or something.
and I was like,
Oh no, not Joe Alves. Who is the guy that you made like a baby version of? It was one of the other guys. The other guy. You know what I'm talking about.
We're talking about two separate things here.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The Jaws thing, it's not Donald Trump.
I thought
It's
it
Dave
was-
Hodge, the guy who runs Wonderfest.
Right. That's
Oh,
what
He's
okay.
a
I'm
huge
sorry.
Jaws
All right,
fan.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
He doesn't even have hair. He doesn't look like Donald Trump.
I don't know where that came from.
I only saw a little bit of it, and I was like,
Okay.
oh, it looks like, but he's
Okay.
a dumb.
So the other thing that a year before I brought that one out, for those of you who know John Eves, is
Yeah.
concept artist on a lot of stuff, Marvel stuff, Star Trek particularly. And he has a reputation at Wonderfest for not being around. Either he says he's going to come to Wonderfest and he's just difficult to find. I people.
Yeah,
There's,
yeah.
there's
I've seen
a
his
running
table
gag
there,
is,
but I've never
where's
seen him
John
there.
Eves?
Yeah.
So I made a tiny little John Eves to sit beside me on the table, like he's signing autographs. So if you're looking for John Eves, here's John Eves, and that was a big hit because Wonderfest they asked, can we take this figurine and put it on auction? And so I said, yeah, take it. I don't want to bring it back with me. I don't want John Eves with me. So they put it in auction, and really wanted it. Really, really, really wanted it. And I think what eventually happened is either Dave Hodge I think it was Dave Hodge. He gathered a bunch of money, won the auction, gave it to John Eve's daughter. Now it's one of her prized possessions, apparently.
I remember the one year, was it you brought the Thing snow globe that
Yeah.
James made. James did that.
Let's get that story straight. That was Toke's design and idea.
Yeah.
And I just did the 3D printing, which was a pain in the asses for that thing because it was so small. And it was like I was with resin, but anyway, that's really Eric's.
Oh, okay.
Work.
Yeah, keep in mind you have what, 8 characters have to fit inside a snow globe.
Yeah.
So it was it was quite
Yeah.
a project to do.
Definitely sounds like a
And
pain in
it
the
was
ass.
like, getting the measurements back and forth is like, it's like he prints it. Oh no, it's a little too small, or it's a little too big. And it was leaking water at one point, and so you had to. But you eventually got it right, as far as like all the things were.
Yeah, the first year I brought it, it was I think there was so many things that just went wrong, especially with FedEx and whatever.
Oh God, that was Oh
yeah.
man, yeah.
But I went back, rebuilt it again for the next year, and it worked out quite well.
Yeah.
Didn't win a prize for it.
I mean, I thought for sure that was I thought that would have been the hit of the show for sure. The one that everybody was talking about. And and it's amazing the accuracy. I mean, the sculpt, because you sculpted it up in like Nomad, or right, that 3D modeling program, Nomad, before, and he sent me over the files, and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And it was, because I was like. And you did it like on an iPad or something, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
And I was like, how in the hell?
Okay.
I thought that was like one of the most amazing things I've ever seen somebody do with, from scratch with like a 3D modeling program. And because it was just the accuracy of it was just phenomenal,
Yeah, even though I am in animation, even though I draw, getting me to transition to 3D is maybe I'm too old, maybe I'm just not a computer person, but I've tried many times to learn ZBrush, or what's the other one? I think mainly
Maya,
ZBrush.
a bunch of them out there, but ZBrush is like the standard, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't need it to be super detailed because the characters were like that.
Yeah.
So I opted to find something much simpler that I could just do on my iPad, and Nomad actually turned out to be a really good little program that is relatively simple. I picked it up in an afternoon. I didn't have to spend weeks and weeks trying to figure out every single option on the screen. For anybody who is looking to get into, or at least get a taste of 3D, that's a good little toy to play around with, and you can do some really nice stuff with it.
And it's cheap. It's really there's not like a subscription.
It's either free or extremely cheap.
It's a one-off type thing. So.
It's not like Blender where
no,
Blender,
that's probably the one you're thinking. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Because Blender has a converter, but Blender it's like cloud-based, so you have to get this huge subscription. You have to pay dollars, and then you're like, it could do so much. Like it can do film, to STL files. You could do concept art. You could do all this other stuff. You can actually, do parts in CAD CAM. And I'm like, that's great. I just want to do simple things. That's all I want. and it's got this. It's like looking at the hell's the architectural program I used to do. It's like AutoCAD. It's like okay, I went to engineering, like mechanical drawing. I know how to draw all these things. Now I have to try to do it through a computer thing. And if you don't have that background, you don't know what, it is. It looks like, but I mean, now they have these AI things. Where it's like text, like you
Prompting.
like type in.
Yeah, the prompting.
Yeah. AI prompting. Yeah.
Yeah, AI, and then you just convert it to
Oh,
STL.
we're not going to get onto that subject, are we?
Probably that's a subject we should probably not, bring up to Eric, because I know a lot of artists that are very.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like it either, because there's so much slop, as they call it out there. That's Yeah.
Yeah, as much as I don't like it, I think it's
Yeah.
easy and in if you're talking about the movie business or commercial art, money is king.
Right.
Yeah, that's there's one truth in the world. That's it. Yeah, it's like, that's the only one I know. That's an absolutely true statement.
Yeah, I mean, I came from an art background. Like my mom used to go to like New York with my grandmother all the time, and my mother was she was a fashion designer in the 40s. So she used to go to all the shows, like the Paris Week show in New York, and go see all the models, the runway, and sketch all these things. I mean, as a kid, but every time she went to New York, she always brought back a drawing book for me. And the last drawing book that she ever brought back for me, which changed how to draw comics the Marvel way, and that was the book.
Oh, yeah.
That was definitive book that showed me. And then from there, I was like, and then she, she got me a book on sculpting, and I was like, oh, sculpt. I can make stuff out of clay, but I wasn't, I wasn't mold making. There were no mold making materials back in like this, in like the early 70s. There was plaster. You could do clay and then plaster, but then what would you do? How would you, make the thing? There's like no epoxy sculpt at the time. There were like no mold rubber, nothing like that. It's like a natural progression from drawing to sculpting to cast to molding to making these figures, making these things, and then But I mean, there's a picture of you standing, crouching in front of one of the Cylon Raiders for Battlestar Galactica. So,
yeah, the actual prop.
Yeah, the actual prop.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That would have been really.
Actually, I have a pic up here if I could share that.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
I think I need you to grant me access.
There we go.
Okay.
You should have access now.
Okay, let me. Here we go. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Okay.
Yep. Oh,
okay.
yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And you shake it up and it's amazing job.
Is that is that smaller than 1/144th scale, or is that 1/144th scale?
I whatever, it looked like it was close to 187th actually, because I think that's about how big like HO figures are, somewhere around like that, like probably like probably 187th. That'd be my guess. I don't know, Eric. Maybe scale wasn't a consideration when you were making these.
I don't remember the scale that I used. It wasn't necessarily one of the established formats.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I'll stop sharing. There you go. I thought people might be interested in seeing. I happen to have that one. That was taken out Wonderfest. So.
Unfortunately, we don't have any close-ups of that.
Yeah.
So your concept art, do you are you eventually going to put together a book on your concept art, or like things that you've worked
Don't.
on, or
I mean, they've already done a couple of art of Battlestar Galactica books.
okay,
Anything
Mhm.
other than it would be really difficult to go around and get all the rights to it. You know,
okay,
they're
oh,
they're attached to
Mhm.
certain productions, um, and it would be very difficult to dig everything out.
Well,
Uh,
what do you? I'm sure you have like a portfolio of things like you know something that wouldn't have a license associated, something that would be like things you've conceptualized just on your own.
yeah, but not enough to fill up an entire a
oh,
pamphlet,
Oh.
maybe.
Man. So,
I'm I didn't really have any other questions other than Helios and everything else, but I just want to know what you're doing now. You're just doing
Um, for those that know me, know that I'm going through some health issues right now, so
okay,
that's essentially my life right now.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to put that on this show. No,
Mhm.
no, and I didn't want you to
Well, it's
say
out
that
there
what you
now.
want. No, I know. I understand it's out there. I didn't want to say anything.
That's okay.
That
It's not a secret, but it has severely impacted how much time I spend on other projects.
okay. So, what are the other projects you want to work on? I like.
I would really like to get our film off the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been
Mhm.
playing around with um, puppets,
like real puppets,
like real puppets.
Okay.
Like not, I don't see. I did do a few short samples in CG, and I just find CG because I'm too old to really understand how it all comes together.
yeah.
Um, I would
Now,
have to
Mhm.
hire somebody else to do all the modeling and the
yeah.
rigging and the animation, and it just seems to be something that I can't really get my hands dirty with. Everything
Yeah, and
is
also
like
you
at an
lose,
arm's length.
and you're probably more of a tactile, like physical type of person, I'm assuming.
Something's
Yeah,
wrong. I'd like to get in there
yeah,
and get it myself,
Mhm.
yeah,
but in the case of CG, it's like I have to tell somebody else to get it done.
yeah,
And whether or not they get it done right the first time, or then if not revisions, and it's just filmmaking at an arm's length.
yeah,
Uh, and it
Mhm.
to me, um, I understand the economics of why CG is so popular, but I'm finding out as I get older that the films I grew up with, um, they didn't necessarily need to be photorealistic. They
right,
didn't,
right.
something like the Super Marionation or whatever.
Yeah,
Those were not
exactly.
realistic by any stretch of it, but you got a sense of realism because something physically was there.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
um,
And I
I
think you also probably, I mean, the fact that even as a little kid, even though I knew there were puppets, obviously, but there was something like even then as a little kid, you had like an appreciation for the craftsmanship and the artistry that went into pulling off something like that. And I think that that's really what's missed. I'm not saying that CGI artists aren't artists, but it's like two worlds, trying to
yeah.
accomplish the
I
same
mean,
thing. Yeah.
when was the last time you went to see a Marvel movie and you went and you were really on the edge of your seat thinking that that person might die? It doesn't
No.
happen. But uh, I remember growing up, and this was before I went to Hong Kong, but I was starting to get really interested in the kung fu movies, and I would be watching these things and be sucked in um, by the energy and the intent of that I didn't care if I saw wires going up the guy's backside. I didn't care